Hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and welcome. Today, we are going to do a little bit of soul work. And what I mean by that is we're going to sort of get in touch with what we're really thinking as opposed to what's going on around the world. And what I'm going to do is do some fun things. I'm going to sort of give you a quote and then see what that triggers within you and see what sort of feedback everybody's got on it. So, but in doing that, what we will all do is we will all um, touch our souls to a certain extent, which is really important in our lives. Hi there, Nana. Welcome. And I just wanted to let you know that in terms of soul, uh, I am busy at the moment cooking up some Queen's pudding. Nana, you probably know what that is. You're probably one of the few people in the room that would. It's so funny every now and then, like it's a rainy day here. I don't know if it's rainy where you are, Nana, but where I am, it's a really dark, rainy day. Hi there, Jody. And so I thought, I never eat well on Fridays because I do two broadcasts, and then in between I went out, and I'll talk a bit about that in a moment. But I thought, what would please my soul? So what? It's like a bread pudding, Nana. But what I do is I put bread and milk and egg and vanilla, and I blend it all up so it's like a very loose mixture. And then you just pour it into a Pyrex, excuse me, and then bake it at about 350 for about an hour or so. If you want the ultimate, which I always do, I added today blueberries and apricots. And if you want to, hi Jamie, if you want to make Queen's pudding, once that base is cooked, you then put a layer of raspberry jam on it and meringue on top of that, which of course you wouldn't be doing, Nana, because of the sugar content. But that's really what Queen's pudding is. So I'm doing what I call the healthier version. I'm just doing the bottom layer. Oh, it is. It's really wonderful. It's I must admit, not many Americans know about it, but it was I guess it was what I grew up with, right? It was one of those comfort foods I grew up with, and so every now and then at the end of the week, I don't know about you. Do you have sort of things that you do at the end of the week to use up your leftovers in your fridge? Am I the only one that does that? Mm. Hi, Lauren. Yes, share the news here, Lauren. How many pounds is it? 5? Yeah, well, I want to tell you. Yes, exactly. And so what I do is at the end of the week, any bread I've got left over, I will turn it into bread pudding or make breadcrumbs out of it or any of those sort of things. And or I'll make some sort of, as I said, variation of bread pudding. So today I've got bread. It's like, but bread pudding normally gets made in chunks. So what I'm doing here is you blend it all up so it's fine, much more fine, and so it makes like almost a cake. Except I've got blueberries. I put dried blueberries and dried apricots. By the way, I really recommend getting dried blueberries and apricots because they're really useful just to sprinkle into something and just bring up the taste. Do you know what I mean? You might not be, instead of buying them and letting them go bad or using up space in the freezer, dried ones are really good. It's like a deconstructed bread pudding, yeah, with bells on. It really is with bells on because you've got that, hi Erin, you've got that layer of raspberry jam and then the meringue over the top if you do it properly. And it's just you cook the base first, then you put the raspberry jam on it, and then then you put the meringue on top of that and then cook that a little bit more. All right, so what we're going to be doing today, and I'll get to it in a second, but what we're going to be doing is some soul work. I thought it would be nice to do some work with our soul because we heard some sad news, I think, for everybody. I'm amazed how many people have been touched by Anthony Bourdain's death. And it's like it's so unexpected. And who knew that you could be worth 16 million and still be unhappy? And so for that, I am very, very sad. And I'm still going to wait to see if there's more to the story. Mm. Yes, I agree, Jody. A pavlova is wonderful. So, Nana, because you probably haven't seen this, I've now put the varnish on this one. Can you see it? So it came up beautifully. I'm so happy with it. So that's a really good one. And I did a couple more this week. I did one that I didn't like that much, but funny enough, my realtor did, which is this one. And then I did one that I liked, which is this one. I think by the time this has got varnish on it, and I believe Becca liked this one as well. So I believe by the time I've got varnish on this, it will look beautiful. And I think I'm trying to work out what color frame I should put on it. I'm not quite sure, but I think that would look nice anyway. By the way, for those of you who weren't here at lunchtime, I ended up getting some gold stars for the work I've done in my downsizing from my realtor. She actually was very pleased with what I'd done. And, I think she totally understood. Yeah, I'm just saying that she totally understood the pain I've been through to get there. I'm actually surprised how little we changed. We changed up a couple of paintings. The one I had over here, we moved over to this side and then vice versa. But I think that's about all. Silver might be nice. How do you mean, Jody? I've changed subjects so many times in the last few seconds. I'm not quite sure. For a frame, yes. Yeah. Okay. I think you're right. I think it would look good in silver. Or blue. Yes. But I have to think about how many people, that's got a touch of blue in it. It's going to go in my back room. Probably these two will go in my back. You see, I've been painting these and I'm putting them in my rooms. So this one, which I'm still not quite sure which way. I think it's that way. This one and this one will go into that room on different walls. So by the time I do the showing, I will have all the artwork in the house will be mine. And I'm quite proud of it. I did an exciting thing between the two broadcasts. I went out and visited an RV site. For those of you who weren't here at lunchtime, I was discussing what my new plan is. My new plan is to actually go and have a look at upmarket, top of the line, fifth wheels, luxury ones, and probably get one and live in it for a year to see whether I survive a year. But probably one that's called a toy hauler, because that's got like a garage in the back that I can turn into an art studio and fling paint around, and it won't do it too much damage. And so that's what I'm going to be researching. So between the two broadcasts, I went to one of the local RV places to see, do they take full-time type rigs? Because it's rig now. Do they take full-time rigs? And if so, were there any restrictions? Now, some of you have heard that a lot of these places are saying if it's more than 10 years old, they won't take it. This is what I found out today. You see, research is really worth doing. I said, she said to me, by the way, if the rig is more than 10 years old, we won't take it in. I said, okay, but what if I buy a 9-year-old one? When it's 10 years old, will you, or 11 years old, will you be throwing me out? And they said, no. Just when you come in, it needs to be less than 10 years old. She said, we got lots of older ones here. But what we're saying is the ones that come in, the new ones, need to be less than 10 years old, because the old ones are sort of dying off, if you like. So I went, okay, that's a good bit of learning. So what I'm doing now is going to research a couple of places. Now, the place I went today, they really are crammed next to each other. I mean, there's very little space between one big rig and the next one. I'm going over to Aldergrove. Do any of you remember when I did that? A long time ago, I went to a place in Aldergrove where I ended up helping the person who ran the place, and they had really nice sites. And I know there were a couple of people there that were there full time. So I'm going to find out if they still allow that, or whether they've stopped doing that. But here's the thing. A lot of people will say you can stay for 6 months. So then you just go to the next one for 6 months. So I am busy moving on in my mind and getting things done. All right, let me just charge up my phone while we do this. I've got the Queen's Pudding busy cooking. So that's good for my reward for when we finished. Hi, Beth. Good to see you, honey. And there's my phone charging. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I've got a book of beautiful quotes that I thought I would share with you. And I thought what we would do is see, what do these quotes make you think about? So in order to explain what I mean, I'm going to give you one so that you can see what I'm saying. So the first quote is this. It says, "Life is the movie you see through your own unique eyes. It makes little difference what's happening out there. It's how you take it that counts." How many of you have found that out? It's not what happens to you, it's how you react and how you perceive what's happening out there that actually either makes you happy or sad. And I wondered if any of you, have got any examples that you care to share on that one. Let me try and see. Oh, yeah, I could say that, that this whole business about downsizing is, really stressful and all the rest of it. What I'm beginning to see, and I'm looking for the positives in this, what I'm beginning to see is I've now kept my house tidy for 48 hours. I mean, really tidy, Nana. You'd be quite surprised. And I'm actually getting a little bit picky about it at the moment. And so for all those of you who've made big changes, and I'm thinking of people like Erin and Beth and Kerry and everybody else, I'm going, I can do this. I've just got to learn a new way. Yes, and Erin's saying the same thing. It's not your situation or your circumstances, it's how you handle and you handle them and your attitude. I have not yet listed yet. I'm a long way away from it, Nana. I still have 2 more rooms I need to downsize, which will probably take me at least another couple of weeks. And then I will start bringing in the fixes. All right. And when I say the fixes, I'm going to bring in somebody to have a look at my patio and see, how much damage there really is and get an idea of how much it would cost me to fix it, and then make a decision whether I fix it immediately or whether I merely, when I list the house, explain that this is what the problem is. I've had somebody look at it and they reckon it'll cost this much to fix. You know what I mean? And I've got a light in my bedroom that's a fan light that only works if the light is on. So if you want to have the fan on at night with the light off, well, you're out of luck. So, there are all sorts of little things I still want to get I need a handyman for a couple of days, right? Somebody who can do a lot of little things. So that is the next plan. But my attitude is that I don't want to rush any of it. All right. When I say I don't want to rush it, for the first time in my life, I'm trying to do this at my speed, not everybody else's. And it's really quite different. I really have to say this. It's like, I know that everybody wants me to move forward quickly and get the house, listed and sold and, move on with my life. And so now it's really everything that's happening. Hi, Jonas. Everything that's happening, I keep asking myself, is this what other people want or is this what I want? Because it really is quite different in some cases. So how many of you have noticed that a lot of your stress comes from trying to keep up with everybody else's perception of things rather than your own? So think about that. I am doing everything I can, Jody. And, as Yvonne and I were talking about it yesterday, I know that if I start stressing myself out, I will get sick. If I get sick, I could delay this by, months, not weeks, months. And so I'm trying to do everything I can to minimize the amount of stress that I put myself under. All right. So here's another quote for you. See where we come to with this one. Are you ready? This one says, put your glasses on, Sal. Okay, I will do that for you, sir. All right, so this one says, set your sights high. The higher, the better. Accept the most wonderful things to happen, not in the future, but right now. So expect the most wonderful things to happen, not in the future, but right now. Realize that nothing is too good and allow absolutely nothing to hamper you or hold you up in any way. How many of you can do that? How many of you can take a deep breath and go, the best could easily happen here? And let me think what that might be. And for those of you who were listening to my story at lunchtime, you understand, part of me went, well, what if I got a big fifth wheel? And then I went, no. What if you got a big luxury fifth wheel because you deserve that? do you understand the difference? This is like, and then, there's that voice in my head that's going, yeah, but that's a waste of money and da, 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 da. And I'm going, no, Sal, no, it's not a waste of money. You've worked a lifetime to be able to enjoy your retirement, and, you deserve to do it, with nice countertops and comfortable place. It's just like, for the sake of, it's really quite funny. The difference is amazing. And when I realized what the price was of a truly luxurious one, I went, yeah, I think I deserve that. So let me ask you something. When you guys go to buy a new appliance, do you get the best that you can, or do you get the cheapest that you can? And, this is a very important thing. Well, I don't know. Yes, the best you can afford is always a good thing, whether you're buying a house, whether you're buying, a travel trailer, whatever you do, get the best you can afford. Because not always is the best the most reliable. We know that. Not always is the best, the hardest wearing or whatever. But if you get the best you can afford, there is a chance. For example, when I went to get a tow vehicle for my trailer, I got the best I could afford, which was a dirty great Jeep with a full towing package, and I switched up the hitch to a class 4. Part of my research is to find out how big a trailer can I pull with my Jeep. Pat, please tell me the name of your trailer. I keep asking the question and I keep missing the answer. I'm going to write it down. Because you've got a bath and a half. You must have if you've got 2 bedrooms. This is the trick. I'm looking for a trailer that's a bath and a half. And I'm trying to just look now to see, maybe I can get a travel trailer, or maybe my Jeep will pull it. But I'm not sure about that. So those of you who don't know, Pat is actually out in her new trailer at the moment. It's like so proud of her. Severe. I've never even heard of it. Okay, thank you. I will look it up after I finish the broadcast and spend the night probably doing more research. So do you get the idea about this? Set your sights high, and the higher the better. Expect the most wonderful things to happen, not in the future, but now. All right. So I think that all too often we expect the worst to happen, and then we attract the worst rather than expect the best. Now, what did Beth say here? Wow, that is wonderful. Okay, so you're saying I've realized that if I don't have faith in the greater future for myself, that I will not work towards it. Exactly. So I need to turn myself towards the sun. How beautiful is that? I love that, Beth. How many of you want to write that quote down? Turn yourself towards the sun. The shadows will always be behind me. Oh, Beth. Where did you find that quote? That is awesome. Pat, so my Jeep how many feet is yours? I love being able to carry on two conversations at the same time. And sometimes we seem to be carrying on. Yes, that's what I want. Do you think I'll be able to tow it, though, without doing anybody any major damage? 38 feet. That's about the length I want. That's really interesting. Okay, I'm going to check that out when I've finished. And I think that the fun time to buy one is at the end of the season. When the dealerships are beginning to feel the pinch a bit, that's when to go and buy one. That's what I did with my trailer. I waited until the season was over and then I bought. They were only too happy to help me. All right, now this one, the next quote, let's see what this pulls up for you. To see your drama clearly is to be liberated from it. How many of you have found that out? That you can see your drama now. Before you were just in the drama, but now you can stand outside and see it. How many of you have found that out now? We've done enough work that you can actually see the drama. Yeah, you were a drama queen, Beth. No doubt about it. Yeah. You and Manon would have got on. I don't know if you've met Manon yet, Beth, but she obviously is from France. That's what I thought, Pat. Get a 2017, 16 or 17. That's what I'm going to go for. I am sure that you can negotiate even more off that if you wanted to. Yeah. So, but the main thing is, do you love it to bits? You see, that's the thing. Yes, Erin, right? So Erin's saying, I was in everybody else's drama because I thought I had to be. Yeah. Oh, it's such a big lesson when you learn you don't have to be a drama queen. And you can actually cut out the drama, other people's drama. Erin, I believe third hand that you cut out some drama this week. Well done. So, it is, we all have enough drama without creating more or bringing in more drama queens and kings around us. I don't have the energy for that drama anymore either. And it was really funny because Kerry just refuses to get sucked in anymore. I know, but I used to. I was so good at it for so long. All right, ready for the next one? I love this one. This is a human being is a single being, unique and unrepeatable. What if you could just have that up on your mirror every morning? I am unique and unrepeatable. You know, and what if we told that, and I'm certain some of you have done that, what if you told that regularly to your children and to the ones in your life that you love? You are unique and unrepeatable, and I'm so lucky to have you in my life. Okay, no problem, Pat. Thank you. Yes, Erin. Um, yeah, I heard about it third hand, and yes, I'm sure that I'm sure that the way in which you used your 2x4 didn't win any subtle prizes, but it apparently worked. Yeah, you are unique and unrepeatable. There are days when I actually feel that. How many of you do have days when you feel like that? You actually can see that you are unique and probably the only one that's ever going to be you. Now, nobody's going to have all the little quirks that you have. Nobody's going to have that little dimple. Nobody's going to, do. And I remember one guy I went out with. He said to me, "Please, please smile at me," or something. And I said, "What?" And he said, "You've got an unbelievable way of half closing one eye when you smile." And I'm going, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, it's really funny. You sort of, when you really feel it in your soul, you half close one eye but not the other." And I'm going, "I didn't know that." Yes, Erin, on a good day, you can see that, right? And Kerry, I think that all of us need to remember that we are unique. Came into this world unique and intentionally unique. And we were given, I believe, the struggles that we have, um, so that we could be even more unique. Because how could you not be who you are with all you've been through, Erin? Do you understand? Or Kerry? Or yes, and I would say that there's the other side of Lionel, right? I love that Jodie's saying that Lionel would say, "Thank goodness I'm not repeatable. One is enough." Um, the world deserves more Lionels, I think. So you tell him that from me. And how about that? A great quote from Kerry. Why fit in when you're born to stand out? Right? I really do think we are unique. And I agree with you. Why would we do that? Why would we lessen who we are? Something, Beth saying, even our weaknesses are not really weaknesses because it made us who we are as individuals. I've always said that the greatest bit of advice I ever got was to see my weaknesses as my greatest strengths and work on them. That changed my life. Ah, that's cute, Jody. So he said it about you, and that one is enough. And I'm sure he wouldn't want to share you with anybody. I think we all have quirks, Kerry, and I think that's part of our charm, right? It's we see these quirks of who we are, maybe as negatives, but really they give us our personality and our character, and I think that's really important. All right, so let's move on to another. Are you enjoying this? I think they're a good thing as well. All right, so let's do this one. Have no fear of moving into the unknown. Simply step out fearlessly, knowing that I am with you. Therefore, no harm can befall you. All is very very well. Do this in complete faith and confidence. So I want to repeat that because that really touches the soul, doesn't it? Have no fear of moving into the unknown. I can feel this is for me as well, right? Simply step out fearlessly, knowing that I am with you. Therefore, no harm can befall you. All is very, very well. Do this in complete faith and confidence. So, anything come to mind, people? Yes, Kerry is saying that she's been shoved into the unknown quite a bit. Um, and you either adapt or you flop. Hi, Emil. How you doing? So I can feel that I really need this because I'm about to step into a huge area of unknown. And I'm going to be taking a lot of risks and a lot of um, newness. And, I'm a creature of habit. How many of you would say you're a creature of habit? You have your routines, and that's how you sort of do your life. And so, and I've sort of got tied into a little bit to being older and doing less. And so part of what I'm doing now is going to really challenge me to find out whether I really want to be doing less or whether doing more will actually make me healthier. So that's where I'm pushing myself on this one. All right, so this is the next one that I really loved. Well, I'm just reading it as I talk to you, but um, life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality, and let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. So, what does that bring up for anybody? Does anybody? Yes, Erin. Erin's saying that she's been shoved into the unknown, not by choice, but it's where I'm supposed to be. Yes, exactly. Go with the flow or create your own flow, not everybody else's. And I think let things flow naturally. All right. But that's not naturally for everybody else, naturally for you. So, how many of you have noticed that during this whole process of my house thing, I have slowed everything down because everybody wants to speed it up, and I am intentionally slowing it down because I want it to just be at the right pace for me, not everybody else's pace. And I need time to research. I need time to think. I need time to, see what's going on. And I believe that way I will be happier when it's all done. Oh, may I miss some great opportunities? You bet, but they will be the wrong opportunities in my view. Do any of you understand what I'm saying on that one? I don't want to be forced to make a quick decision on something just because, I don't want to have to go out and rush out and go and buy a house because mine's already sold and I've got nowhere to go. I love Kerry's thing here. She says, I'm an old ducky and I will always waddle to my own drummer. I won't change for anybody else but me. I think, Kerry, I could be wrong, but so I'm seeking to understand here. Have you changed a little bit since you've met Mike? Because I cannot believe that you haven't. Do you understand? Because I think whenever a really meaningful person comes into our life, we do change. Yes, Kerry, and that's why I was saying it, right? You've changed, and so has he. All right, and in what way have you found just that you've become softer, happier? What in what way have you changed? Because he's been sent to teach you something, I believe. And whilst Kerry is typing that reply, here is your next one. And just breathe and feel this one and see what it brings up for you. You don't have to answer it, just be aware. Experience is determined by yourself, not the circumstances of your life. Right? Experience is determined by yourself, not by the circumstances of your life. I believe the circumstances come up just to test our strength in certain areas. You've heard me say many, many times that, life will continue to send you the same lesson until you get it. Yes, go right ahead. And while we're waiting for that question to come up, Kerry's saying that she's happier, calmer, and more relaxed. That's what I feel as well. And that's why I couldn't let it go by that you haven't changed, because I've seen changes. Oh, so Nana says, what happened to everyone coming in and talking about their life? It all seems controlled now. Um, I'm sorry that you see it that way. We normally do the first 20 minutes on a format that, has everybody's news and everything. But I must admit, I didn't do that today. So I accept the fact that I didn't do that today, and there was a reason for it, but I didn't see that. No, it's not. I just want to then. But you're saying what happened to everyone coming in and talking about their life? Kerry's talking about her life. Beth is talking about her life. Jody is talking about her life. So I guess I'm not quite understanding where it's controlled. I'm trying to find topics around which we could talk. Oh, we did a lot of talking about the news at lunchtime today. So is that what you'd like to do, is to talk about the news? Because we can put that in a bit later. And I believe I've talked about Anthony Bourdain, and I also talked about Kate Spade. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's why I just want to check, if you all feel that it's become controlled and we're not talking about anybody's life. My experience is that you're all giving examples from your life. So that confuses me a little bit, but I hear it, and I'll, thank you for the input. So to me, it's like, if you guys would like to go back to not having a topic and not having a format. Oh, I thought that's what you said. What happened to everyone coming up and talking about their life? It seems controlled now. And I'm quoting you, Nana. Okay. Well, I think that's the whole thing. I think if, I try to find topics that I think are relevant for life. And the reason I picked this topic tonight was because of what's happening in the news, quite honestly. No, don't be sorry. I think, it's what I love about you, Nana, is you say what you think. And so, I'm happy. Oh, we always stop for someone having a problem. Do you have a problem, Nana? I would, I, I would be horrified to think I would be horrified to think that you thought that I wouldn't stop for somebody who have a problem. Sometimes I am shorter with some people than others because, it's the same record playing over and over again. Okay, so do you want me to say that publicly, Nana, just so that I can be clear, because that's pretty personal information? Let me know. And if you do, then I will gladly let everybody know. And for the people who can see the playback, perhaps you want to update us? Oh, well, bless you for that. That's very kind of you, Beth. I must admit, I do try and link what's going on um, to what's going on in our lives and everything else. I try to find balance. All right, I will do some serious subjects, some lighter ones, and so I actually work quite hard to try and create that. And I really did think today, what can I do? Because two suicides, two celebrity suicides in a week. I'm certain it has affected everybody to some degree. And I thought the best thing we can do is do a little bit of soul work, and get back in touch with who we are. So let me just do that. I'm hoping, Nana, although you didn't answer that, but I'm hoping that the checkup was good. All right, so here's the next one. When you feel, let me put my glasses on because I read better with them on. When you feel that you have reached the end and that you cannot go one step further, when life seems to be drained of all purpose, what a wonderful opportunity to start all over again, to turn over a new page. I'm going to read that again. When you feel that you have reached the end and that you cannot go one step further, when life seems to be drained of all purpose, what a wonderful opportunity to start all over again, to turn over a new page. I think that's beautiful. And by the way, it's from Eileen Caddy from Footprints in the Path. I've been there. Have you? How many of you have been there where you're going, I don't know what I'm doing anymore? you know. And then you go, well, if I don't know what I'm doing anymore, I might as well start again. And now what do I want to do next? I'm glad that you needed that. It's like, and now what do I need? What do I want to create? And I'm doing that with my life at the moment, right? What do I want to take with me into the next phase of my life? And right, so one of the viewers is saying here, it's kind of like after I cry, I show my weakness and then I feel cleansed down to my soul. Yeah, and somebody else is saying it's been me a lot lately. All right. So every now and then, when you're feeling at your weakest, it's like, okay, well, obviously that's over with. So let me move on to something new. Because if it's run out of steam and you don't know where you're going anymore, there's not much point in going there, is there? So you understand? It's like um, there's another purpose. You've served your purpose in that particular area. Now it's time to move on to something new. And so I just thought that was beautiful. Wow. Are you ready for this one? Take a deep breath, peeps. You're going to love this. This is the quote. To find yourself, think for yourself. And that was said by Socrates a few years ago. So, a lot of people say, well, I really don't know what I'm about or who I am. I'm trying to find myself. Well, if you want to find yourself, think for yourself. And as I was saying about Nana, what I always love about Nana is she will always say what she feels. And, I think it takes great courage. I don't know about the rest of you, but it always amazes me the courage that Nana has to bring up what could be a conflict type situation. But she doesn't really do it from that place. I know Nana well enough. She doesn't come from that place. It's not where her heart is. It just sometimes comes out like it's conflict stuff, but it isn't. It's like she's genuinely asking because that's what she is experiencing. Remember that quote earlier on? It's not really what necessarily is happening, it's but what she is seeing from her reality is this change. And so that is really important. And I really do. Mean it very seriously, Nana. I always respect the fact that you are prepared, to discuss things and bring up the big elephants in the room that you see. And, sometimes then not elephants other people see, but I still really admire the fact that you do it. And I thank you for being that genuine. Because to me, it's like, okay, fine. I know you enough to know this, where this is coming from. And so I could perhaps see it a different way. Um, Well, I think it's wonderful, Kerry and Erin, that you two, this is another thing for which I'm very grateful. I always love it when, viewers create this relationship with people that they didn't know before they came here and can support each other the way that you two do. You've done a great job, one for the other. And I know that you've done it for more than one person, Kerry, and especially at times when you probably could have done with a bit of help for yourself. But I think the greatest gift that Erin has received, Kerry, from you is, somebody she can genuinely vent to and not worry about. How many of you find that really a gift? When you've got somebody you can go, excuse me, I need a little rant now. It's not that I'm angry or whatever. I just need a little rant right now. Um, I was, busy watching the news. Can you imagine? I don't know whether I'm right or wrong on this one, and it depends where everybody sees it from. But how uncomfortable must it be for President Trump to go to the G9 and be ostracized for being who he is? That cannot be fun. And I don't know if any of you saw the group photo. Did any of you see the group photo go down? It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. As usual, one person was grandstanding and making sure they came in last. So everybody had to wait for them, just about. And then the other thing was they all stood up in a line, and within seconds, um, it was over. And even the anchors were going, boy, that was quick. And the reason was, I don't think anybody wanted to be standing next to Trump. So they all shifted. And once they shifted, they just walked off. It was really the funniest thing to watch. And, you could see that Angela Merkel and Trump are not the best of buds. The body language is priceless. And the other thing is, I found it interesting to watch President Macron of France go out of his way not to be too buddy with him either. So I'm going, it must, I wonder whether he feels more powerful for it or whether he's realizing that he's, that his credibility with these people is not what you might call good. So it's been an interesting. I've been not had a lot of chance to watch the news today, but it's certainly the little bit I've seen has been very entertaining to me. All right, here we go. A tree that can fill the span of a man's arms grows from a downy tip. A terrace 9 stories high rises from hodfuls of earth. A journey of 1,000 miles starts from beneath one's feet. And now, most of us have heard the last part of that. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the one step. But Lao Tzu said, a tree that can fill the span of a man's arms, a big tree, all right, comes from a tiny little tip at the end of a bud. I think that's beautiful. And a terrace of 9 stories high, right, starts by somebody filling up a couple of hods of earth and making the first terrace. However long that takes, sometimes it takes forever. And how many of you feel that you've been slowly building your terrace of many steps? How many of you feel that this year you have taken, another step in your terrace, if you like? And if so, what was the defining moment for you? Yes, Beth, you're right. It's like starting out as babies and growing every day. It's like I think it's really important that we get that every day brings us happiness, learning, growth, amusement, probably some sadness, because that is life. There's a little bit of everything in life. And, I believe that when we can balance all those out is when we actually find some sort of serenity. Yes, Kerry, I think you've taken some steps. I think you've taken some big steps um, of growth this year. Um, so, don't want you guys to let that not be in your everyday thank yous, all right? That you can see that you are growing, that you can see you might not be perfect, but you can see you're a whole lot better than you were before. And so to me, I would like to also say that the reason that you are is because you are doing the work. How many of you can feel that? That as we do these broadcasts and we discuss, quite honestly, we discuss some pretty deep subjects sometimes, and ones that, are pretty complex. I try to find easy ways to and fun ways to put them forward, but it's like if you keep doing the work, you will grow. There is no way. And it's not that I'm the expert at anything. I see my job merely as to bring the subjects up so we can discuss them. And I can assure you, I grow as much as you do. This is not about, I'm the smart one here. Oh, I want to tell you something. That is so, Beth. That is an awesome thing to be aware of. It's hard work working on yourself instead of others, and a lot of people can't do it, Beth. There are an awful lot of people who have, joined in with us and, don't want to do the work. They want to have fun, but they don't want to talk that reality, right? It's like, but the whole point is this will save so many of you so much stress and hopefully, so much misery when you can start just balancing out your thinking a little more. And that is my hope. Okay, so Aaron, I get the quote. Yes, personal growth is very painful at first because the first thing you have to learn is you're not perfect. And I want to tell you something that as somebody said to me, Sal, I wish I'd never met you. And I go, yeah, I know that. And she said, because ignorance was bliss. Now that I've met you and we talk about these things, I've got to own some of my stuff. um, Erin, how can you not have grown? All right. You have come away from an environment where you were um, very well looked after, very well looked after, but in some ways restricted because of fear and concerns. Although it was all done with huge love, I know that. But what you've done now, as you said, you've grown. You're going out. You're buying new clothes. Fun clothes. I think it's wonderful. Now it doesn't mean you haven't had a tough week, because I know you have. But it's wonderful that you can see that doing this move. Jody, I keep thinking about, this wasn't where you saw yourself at this time of your life. I know that, you didn't expect at this age to be having the roadblocks that you've got. And yet, when I look at it, Jody, you've done some incredible work to be able to keep control of this, to be able to be honest about it, to be able to share your emotion about it. I think that is really important. And it's like Nana talking about, um, what happened with Bill. And obviously we're all delighted to hear that he's doing well. But it's like, those are all very big steps. It's like Erin's had some real challenges. All right. Um, but she's still Erin. To me, she hasn't changed at all. She might have a bad hair day, a really bad hair day. She might get angry, or she might get upset or whatever, but she's still Erin. And I think, Erin, that part of what this process is, so we can get that anger out. Maybe it's anger that we've had inside us that we need to let out. I really am very grateful, that I always laugh. I took a major decision on December this last week. And I really put poor Benji with his back against a wall. And then I hit him with a 2x4. But, it was like, I need a decision, people. It's June. We need to get these things fixed. But, the funny thing about it was that, obviously, that wasn't necessarily the most important thing in Benji's life, but in mine, it was like, we've done enough. This is ridiculous. And it was funny because, bless his heart, Benji came back to me afterwards and said, "Thank you for never letting go. You always continue to help everybody." And it's not like it's December, I'm out of here. I just keep going until I start the next one. Right. And so Kerry's saying she's not the same soul that she once was. But as to whether it's good or not, she's not so sure. I think it's wonderful, Kerry. When I think about the person that we met, how many of you have noticed, those of you who've been around a while, the incredible change with Charlotte? You can just see it in the way her face has changed, the way that she's doing things, that she's really has grown for having left home and living a different life. So Erin, all credit to you. It's scary stuff to do, I'm sure. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Stride forward with a firm and steady step, knowing, with a deep and certain inner knowing, that you will reach every goal you set yourself, that you will achieve every aim. Right? I want to make sure you got that. Stride forward with a firm and steady step, knowing, with a deep and certain inner knowing, that you will reach every goal you set yourself, and that you will achieve every step. Now, I want to add something onto that because I think it's important, but it may not be the way you think it should happen. Do any of you relate to what I'm saying? That, you probably prayed for this and had a picture of how that would look, but it may not be how this comes to you. Wow, how do I? But the important thing is to know that whatever's happening, for those of you, I'm a great believer in rereading and um, sorry, rereading the words of Desiderata, at least once a year, and to read them slowly, line by line, and absorb them. The Desiderata has such incredible wisdom in it if you care to just take it line by line. How many of you know what I speak? Let me try and find it for you so that I can read it to you. Yeah. Um, all right, let me just make sure everybody wants me to do that before I go trundling on with that. You've never heard of it? Yes, Aaron. Aaron's saying you're trying to say that God always answers the prayers, but he may not give you the answer you want. Just be answering me, right? And yeah, I think what I'm saying is he answers the prayers, but maybe not in the way that your perception was. So, for example, if you said, I want to be really loved, I said to Yvonne the other day, when I looked at my goal sheets that I did 20 years ago, and I wanted this, this relationship and the picket fence and da 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 da. Well, I've got all of those. But the funny thing was, I thought it came through marriage. And it didn't. It came through other ways. And you know what I mean? So the prayer got answered, but not in the way that I visioned it. All right, here's Desiderata. I'm going to need to go to another screen, so I won't be able to see your comments until I get back. So just be aware. If I'm not answering your stuff, I'll do it when I get back. So here are the words of Desiderata. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself to others, you will become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign attention, neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is perennial as the grass. Take kindly to the counsel of years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in your sudden misfortunes, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars, and you have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whoever you perceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. All right, so Pat's saying that, yes, the song is beautiful, isn't it? And you had it at your graduation. That's, it brings tears to my eyes every time I read it. Because It is so true, right? And so at least once a year, I revisit it because it's a bit like the Serenity Prayer, and you need to go back and remember that life is full of drudgery and trickery and all those sort of things. But it is our job to stay above that and to live our own life happily. And Pat, I just am so impressed that you got out into the trailer and you are out there enjoying um your life. I am so pleased after, all you went through last year that you can be able to do that this year, because I must admit, I wondered whether you would. It is such a joy to hear. Erin, I think it's one of the most meaningful, bits that I found. It was written back in 1952, apparently. Um, so to me, it's like, wow, it's a great bit of wisdom. So I hope some of you enjoyed that. All right. You've even got your sewing machine with you. I think it's wonderful because that's your idea. It is your idea of vacation, right? Is that you can sit in nature and still be able to sew. I want to take my paints with me for the same reason. So yeah, I think it's wonderful and it's perfectly okay. And there'll be people who will say to you, "Oh, you bring a sewing machine on vacation?" You go, "Yeah, I do, because I love to sew." Do you cook? Maybe you cook on vacation. I love to sew. Um, I could, Kerry, but yeah, okay. I will make sure that my brain reminds me of that. All right, here we go. Here's the next one. Let me find my glasses again. Here we go. This is the next one. Yes, if you, but I'll send her the name of it again, Pat, because I think that's really what she needs. And I'll find the YouTube link and give it to her. All right, here's the next one. When you affirm your own rightness in the universe, then you cooperate with others easily and automatically as part of your own nature. You, being yourself, help others be themselves. Because you recognize your own uniqueness, you will not need to dominate others, nor cringe before them. I'll read it again. When you affirm your own rightness in the universe, then you cooperate with others easily and automatically. It's part of your nature. You, being yourself, help others be themselves. Because you recognize your own uniqueness, you will not need to dominate others, nor cringe before them. And that was a quote from Jane Roberts from the book, The Nature of Personal Reality. So, it's like when you really stop trying to please everybody else, when you are good with yourself, you're not perfect. You're not the sharpest, tack in the plank, or nail in the plank, or whatever. But you are who you are, and you're good with that. You know what I mean? When you can see happiness in who you are, then life becomes happier. So it isn't about whether we're fat, thin, tall, short, well educated, not well educated, or whatever. It's just that when we are happy with ourselves. And I think that's what shocked me so much about Anthony Bourdain, because he had always said that when he came back in the next life, he wanted to come back as Anthony Bourdain. And it's just like, wow, and he really something went wrong. Do you understand? Somewhere, something went wrong in that. So either what he was saying wasn't true, wasn't authentic, but it was what he thought sounded good, or he did believe it and then something went wrong, which is why I'm still waiting because something tells me, yeah, was he on some sort of antidepressant or something that went wrong? I said that at lunchtime today, Erin. It's like Robin Williams. Now, Robin Williams, we found out actually, had a disease that he didn't want to put the family through. So there was, it made a lot more sense after that. And so, I'm going, what don't we know? What didn't we know about Kate Spade? And for the mothers listening today, how difficult must that have been? Because she must have known the incredible pain that was going to put on her daughter. But even so, she still went through with it. And you go, that's a really huge step. It's like, how? And what surprised me as well was, how Anthony Bourdain did that. It's like, I don't think hanging yourself is the easiest way to go. Um, so, to me, it's like, all sorts of things here don't sound right. But how many of you know that we do need to have a lot more attention put on mental health between the school shootings and what's going on here at the moment and everything, that we do need society to stop seeing mental health as a stigma and start seeing it as a real disease. And it deserves, the same attention as cancer or anything else like that that's killing people, because there's no doubt about it. Depression, anxiety, and all those things, are having an effect as well. And so that is why I wanted to just take a moment today, to just basically give everybody a bit of a hug and say, don't forget how good you are. Don't get tied up in all the negatives. Remember that you make a difference in the life of others, whether you realize it or not. Yeah, Erin, how many people has she inspired? Kerry, how many people have you helped that are in a better place because you did it? Jody, where would I be without your support? It's like, everybody has their place. And if we compare ourselves to others, if I go back to Desiderata, if you compare your performance to Erin's or mine or Jody's, maybe you don't think you stack up. But the truth is, we each have our own gifts that we bring to the table. And it is the collective use of those gifts that is important. Yes, Kerry, and I'm glad that you advocate for mental health. And not only for yourself, but for others as well. That is awesome. And so now the next one, and this comes from the guy that I quote a lot, which is Jerry John Polsky. From the book Love is Letting Go of Fear, which I quote quite often. Inner peace can be reached only when we participate and practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is the letting go of the past and is therefore the means for correcting our misperceptions. Right? Forgiveness is the letting go of the past and is therefore the means for correcting our misperceptions. How many of you, you don't have to talk about them, but how many of you have needed to let go of something from the past in order to move forward? You have to sort of go, okay, well, that's gone now. That was yesterday. Now I move forward. If I hang on to how much I love my house, I will not take a step forward. Well, bless you for that, Jody. It's very kind of you to say that. And I don't know, it's like, I know how much you support me in all the work that I do. You forgive your mom every day. All right. And that's Beth. So, the past thing, um, this week of Kate Spade, right, would affect you more than a lot of people because you know what that's like. When a mother does something like that and leaves the child with the guilt. And so, but the fact you can forgive her every day is wonderful. What I heard once, and I thought it was a great analogy, and maybe it will help some of you. Somebody said to me, "How do you go up a ladder?" And I said, "What?" And they said, "How do you climb a ladder?" And I said, you walk up it." And they said, "No, show me how." And I went, "Well, you put one hand here, and then you take one foot to there, and then you put the other hand here, and then you put the next foot to there." And they said, "So do you see that to climb a ladder, you have to let go of a rung or two?" Does that make sense to anybody? Right? But you cannot climb the ladder if you stay on that bottom rung. You have to take the risk of grabbing the next rung and then the next one and let your feet follow you. Sometimes they don't want to, but if you keep moving forward in some way, the rest will follow. Yes, Kerry, I think that's so true, isn't it? And I agree with you. I try to help, this is a quote from Kerry. I try to help others because I know what it's like to feel utterly worthless. Yeah. Yeah. So Nana's saying that to see them join all the shootings on mental health saddens you. Do you mean to blame it on mental health? Let me make sure I understand what you're saying there, Nana. Well, hi, Chip. Good to see you. And I'm not sure at what point you joined in, but I'm glad you're here. So do you understand this thing about the ladder, right? I cannot move on with my life unless I'm prepared to let go of my house. Quite simple. So that's why I'm busy concentrating on trying to find something to get excited about in the future. Yeah, and Kerry, I see what you're saying, and I think that's called being accountable, right? I'm trying to put my actions towards myself and practice what I preach. And that's being self-actualized and accountable for your own stuff, not worrying as much about what everybody else isn't doing right. Yes, and mental health does take many forms. I quite agree. I absolutely agree with you, Nana. Yes, and that's why I thought I would bring that in because I remember at the time that I heard it, I went, that makes a lot of sense to me. I can see that. And also it's a picture, and when you take a picture into your mind, you can see it. Yes, it looks a bit scary, but it's just one rung. You don't have to go right to the top of the ladder. How about just one rung at a time? And that's why I rushed out between the two broadcasts and went to go and have a look at an RV place. Yes, and Nana's saying, how many people don't go to the doctor for shame of the label? And that is where the discussion is definitely needs to be, which is we have got to stop seeing mental health as a personal weakness and see it as an illness like cancer, because it's killing people. I've done a lot of work with suicide victims and the victims of suicide. In other words, both with people that want to commit suicide, and I've also done work with the families left. Um, Beth, I think I might have mentioned this to you before. If ever you get a chance, it's not an easy read, But maybe I should grab hold of it and try and work through the concepts again. But there is a book called Children of the Lie. And I totally understand about having to keep that a secret. I totally get that. And that's why Scott Peck wrote the book Children of the Lie. I can't remember what the name of Robin Williams' disease was. It was some sort of a thing like Parkinson's, I think, but it was different. It was more something not as well known. But it basically would destroy his mind. And the prognosis for what that was going to cause for his family, he had done the research. All right, so let's move on. Never be afraid to tread the path alone. Know which is your path and follow it wherever it leads you. Do not feel you have to follow in someone else's footsteps. I'll read it again. Never be afraid of treading the path alone. Know which is your path and follow it wherever it may lead. Do not feel you have to follow in somebody else's footsteps. Thank you, Jody. Yes, I didn't think that it was Lou Gehrig's, because Lou Gehrig's is fairly well known. And Louis Bode, or Body, is not as well known. It's a dementia. That's right. He knew he was losing his mind. And he also knew what trouble that would cause for his family, and he didn't want to put them through it. Thank you for that. Nana's saying that the new update for Windows allows you to dictate and will type what you say. Good for my next book. Yeah, not really, because it means I got to sit down. Now, maybe I can get it to type out my my live broadcast. That would be clever, right? So we've done quite a lot of work this evening, and can I ask you, what did you hear this evening that y- you felt resonated with you? Because each of us has a different point in our lives, and each of us are going through different things in our lives. So I just wondered whether you enjoyed doing this work and whether you would like to do more of it, where we actually just trigger some of the feelings around our personal growth, or in sometimes our lack of it. And I guess the reason that I wanted to talk about this is that we each sorry, I just saw what Nana wrote. Hang on a sec, let me answer Nana, and then I'll be able to concentrate better. Nana, if you would do me the favor, and Jody, maybe you can make a note for me, and I will put you on as a. Oh, I think I can do this here easily. Hold on, Nana. Let me do this. No, it's not that way. Huh. There is an easy way to do this, and I can't remember. Oh, there we go. It must be there. Hang on. All right, Nana, I've just made you a moderator, which means I don't think it will cut you off anymore. Hi, Nada. All right, that's what I'm saying. I put you in as a moderator, and now it should let you say as much as you want to. So Desiderata is new for you, Jody. It is lovely, isn't it? It's. I will find the link to the YouTube version where it's sung, and it really is beautiful. I mean, it definitely touches the brain and the soul. I'm glad to hear you're relaxing, Nada. Drinking iced tea. Is it Long Island iced tea or just regular iced tea? Yes, I can imagine that, Nana. Going back to the hospital would have triggered a lot of things. Good point. Which ones in particular? Did you both have the same triggers or did you have different ones? Kerry, the fact that you think that you might be the only one in your family not to get married, um, that's walking your own path, right? That's letting go of the societal thing that your job is to get married. Yes, and Nana, I can imagine what it triggered. I really, it's like because what happens is the body doesn't forget, and so as you start thinking about going back to the hospital, that tape starts to play again. Did you find that you were reliving parts of it? All right, and how nice to hear that he came out of the CAT scan skipping. That's a whole new memory. Yeah, it can't be too bad if he's skipping, right? So, but that's the point that I was trying to say. For those of us who are Me Too people, for those of us who have history of abuse, for those of us who have anything, traumatic that's happened in our life, these tapes stay in our minds. And every now and then they will start playing again. And so, Nana, it makes perfect sense, that the fact you had to go back to the hospital, it wasn't somewhere you wanted to go back to because the memories about being there, although you were very grateful for the outcome, but you would remember the panic and the trauma of it all. Nada says, I'd like to get married one day. But I put up so many castle walls and dragons and ditches. That my king will be dead by the time he gets to me. I am sorry to laugh, but how many of you relate to that? That is beautiful. Yeah, you can get me. My name is Rumpelstiltskin, right? You have to climb the. I think it's beautiful, really, Nada. What I love about you, Nada, is your sense of humor about yourself. It shows great character. Yeah, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, who would want me? I spend my life being a caster. I'm allergic to garlic. And I've got this great list of things where I'm going, but that doesn't mean that there isn't somebody out there that will be able to forgive all of that, and maybe actually love me for who I am. Wouldn't that be a nice change? Not for, the trophy wife that I was. What about if somebody actually loved me for who I am? Without makeup, you know, double chins, gray hair, and who I am. Wow. Maybe they live in an RV park. Yeah, maybe somebody else with a garlic allergy or somebody who just doesn't like garlic. Yeah. So, and maybe they've got an allergy, right? So they can relate. Yeah, RV man. I'll be looking for you. If I find two nut, I'll send one over. Yes, I agree with you, Erin. It's gonna need to be one heck of a man, right? But I really need somebody to make the frames for my artwork. So I've got the equipment. I just need somebody to do it. Hi, yeah, are you good with tools? Oh, good. How many of you can see me going, well, actually, what I need is, I just need a frame made that fits this, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah. It's going to look so much better. Well, Nada, we're pretty pleased. We're pretty pleased that we met you too. Because you see, we relate to you, Chip, because you're prepared to see the humor in yourself, and that's really what this is all about. Can you look at your stuff and laugh? Because if you can look at your stuff and laugh, then you deserve to be in the room. Because we've all got stuff, Nada. All of us. And it's not like, we're all perfect people. This isn't. We've all got stuff. And I think that's what I wanted to. That's the message I wanted in a way to make sure everybody understood. This is not about, oh, look, Sal knows it all. I want to tell you something, Kerry. I think laughing at yourself constantly is a great sign of healing. It's a great sign of healing. It was so funny. Jody, I could hear you today. I like that. Jody says her favorite T-shirt: "More issues than Vogue." Yeah, I was, when I was at the RV place today, I heard her saying, "Well, we don't talk about, long time um, things until September," and I could hear Jody going, "Flash the smile, Sal." So I did, and I said, "I totally understand that." So would it be a good idea to call you at sort of towards the end of August rather than October, Oh, Nada, I love that it's okay to have baggage. Just use a fancy suitcase. I believe every human being has baggage. Some pretend that they don't have it. Some actually believe that they don't have it. And I'm going, I know better. I know you got baggage. You're a human. I just want to find out what it is. How many workaholics are there that will say, oh, I'm just doing this for the family? Yeah, right. The family would much rather they weren't a workaholic. The family would much rather have less money and have more camping trips like Pat's doing, right? So, it's like, or how about the perfect wife? I keep the house immaculately, and I cook wonderful meals and this. If you ask most men what they want, that's not what they want with a wife, really. So, to me, it's like, you remember I said to you that thing about, what lie do you tell, what story do you tell yourself that justifies your baggage? Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think the greatest thing is when we love each other with the baggage, with or without the fancy suitcase. All right. I would like to think that you guys love me without makeup as much as when I'm wearing it. I don't feel the need to although I would prefer to have had the time to put on makeup and do my hair. I actually could have begged out and said, "Oh, I can't do a broadcast tonight." And I'm going, "No, it's not important. What's important that I do the broadcast because that's what I'm here to do." And if any of you are glad that I did this broadcast, then you will understand why I made that call. It was just like, no, I don't need to have makeup on every single time. I am quite okay without makeup. If you can't handle that, then you don't know me very well. um, yeah, and so Nana's saying she feels the need to have makeup. So what? Yeah, it's like everybody has their own thing. All right. So, Nada, how do we work on dating when we always put up walls? How about we don't just do it with dating? Why don't we just do about how to knock down the walls? Jody, I wonder if you could just make a quick note on that one. How do we knock down the walls? Yes, so, I'm not saying that putting makeup on is a bad thing. If you heard that, that's your experience, but that's not what I meant at all. I think, what my point was, for me, I don't need to put makeup on in order to do a broadcast. That was the issue for me. And I think, that you guys don't really care a great deal about that. Maybe people who don't know me would, but, yeah, that's their judgment, right? Yes. This is so true, isn't it, Nada? If you can't handle me at my worst, you can't have me at my best. Right. Yes, Nana. It's like I would remind you, Nana. How does how do how does Jody cope every day with her elephantitis type lymphoderma? She has to see past that and know that Lionel, for example, doesn't see the elephantitis effect. Lionel is in love with the person. Rick is in love with you, not your skin. Um, all right. I don't believe that you guys come to the broadcast because I do a great job of makeup. Yes, Beth, and part of your healing, Beth, listen to this one. Part of your healing, Beth, is to be able to actually not wear it and feel good. I think that's really a step forward. Is can we not, you know, but if you feel good wearing it, I'm not saying don't wear it. So that is like a dichotomy. I want to tell you something. Hey, Beth, that would be an incredible challenge to give you. Hi, Sakura. That would be an incredible challenge to give yourself, right? I think I'm gonna have a PJ and no makeup day. Maybe you want to warn a few people, so you don't scare the life out of people. But it's like, okay, this is my treat to myself. You know, that my next day off, I'm gonna have a no makeup and I'm gonna stay in my PJs because that is about ego. Right, Beth? If you can do that, you will have overcome your ego to a large extent. I love it. Because, that's what I'm saying is let's see past people's physical and let's see the person. Yes, and Sakura is saying she loves her no makeup and PJ day. Yeah. I every now and then I guess some of you okay, Nana, great to see you. Thank you. And I every now and then I actually go, I really think I just want to stay in bed today. And I'm going, you're retired. You can. It's like I give myself permission to actually not get up every single day and be productive. You know, about once every month, I actually have a day where I go, yeah, I'm just going to stay in my PJs today. It's my nightshirt, but I'm going to stay in that, and I'm going to stay in bed, and I'm going to just read. Well, not necessarily read, but how many of you know I've been spending some nights doing the research through the night on the RV situation? Because I'm going, it's stimulating me, it's fascinating me. So, but should I be getting 8 hours sleep? Well, yeah, I'm going to get that tomorrow. Tonight I will go to bed and I will make sure that I don't jump out of bed early tomorrow. Right? I've got some sleep to catch up on. It's just like what I love about retirement is, the box. The box is the bricks are coming away from that box. That's what I wanted to ask you, Nada. Nada, if you got really honest with yourself, yeah, and I know you are, don't get me wrong, but, give some thought to that. What what do you get out of having such strong walls, right? What you see, you wouldn't have that many walls up that high if they weren't bringing you some benefit, because 'cause you're not stupid, we know that. Well, if you are, you're doing a good job of convincing us. Um, otherwise, because I definitely don't have you pegged as stupid. So to me, it's like part of what we do is we do certain things, keep certain people out of the way for a good reason. You see, I think the reason, Nada, that you want to make sure that nobody gets past those walls and defense system is so they can't hurt you. Yeah. You see, because I've been hurt, judged, lied, stolen from, etc., etc. Did you forget betrayed? Did you forget, abused? Did you forget, and I'm sure I could add all sorts of titles on there. Yes, I believe, Nada, and just give it a bit of thought. I believe the reason we put up the walls is to protect ourselves. Yeah, it's a defense action. Yeah. But unfortunately, as you're beginning to see, um, uh, Nada, and Beth's thing, it's a defense action. So what you're probably beginning to see, Nada, is that it not only defends you from the bad people, it also keeps out the good ones. Yes, I love that. I'm an overactive car alarm. I've been there. Oh, I have been there, Nada. I can relate. If I don't let them into my life, they can't hurt me. I've been there. I totally relate. You know, and if I don't go out of my front door and meet new people, they can't hurt me. How smart is that? Seriously. What is the outcome of that? The outcome of that is I will end up, and now I'm lonely and sad. Yep, exactly. But Nada, much loved by us. All right. And that's in the past. If you choose it to be, remember the quote that we said earlier, that's in the past. You could turn the page and go, and this is the first day of the rest of my life, and I am going to get out my sledgehammer and start working on a few bricks this week. Yeah, there are more than a few of us that relate to what you're saying, Nada. You are not alone. And by the way, Nada, you're not that special. Rain? And I've got tears in my eyes on this one because I so relate. All right, so Nada, go to the wedding and be okay. All right. Yes, and you don't have to go overboard. Just try. I found, just try smiling at people. Even if they're going past, what's she smiling about? Doesn't matter. Just I found the greatest joy is just to smile at people because you'll be amazed how many people smile back. And I want to tell you the last wedding I went to about a month ago, I had a long conversation with the guy. I had no idea who he was. And I found out he was actually the father of the groom. And guess what, Nada? He was a loner. He kept getting out of the crowd and getting away from it all. And you know me, I got eyes in the back of my head and I kept watching that behavior and going, that's interesting. That's going to be an interesting man. I need to have a chat with him. So I did. All I did is I stood next to him and leant on the same fence, and and I just went, "I've been watching you. You like this piece of fence. You are a people watcher." And he said, "Yes, I am." I said, "Good." And I just literally sat and watched people with him and didn't have to say anything because I concentrated on being a people watcher with him. I met some great people, some really great people. And, I met one guy that was a doctor who actually took me aside and sat me down and had a long conversation with me for about half an hour, before he went back to his wife and the rest of his crowd. So you understand, it's like, be who you are, and you will be fascinating. Don't be fearful. Go into that wedding going, "There are nice people in there. I just gotta find them." There'll be some idiots too, Nada. You know? Hello, it's life. There'll be some right idiots as well. But, you'll be amazed how many nice people there are. And I think that's part of the attitude adjustment. If you go to the wedding going, I am going to absolutely concentrate on finding where the nice people are." That's the I'm allowed to cry when they get married because that's what I do. I'm allowed to have that little bit of I wish that were me because that's quite normal. It's like, you're allowed to do all of that. But then the rest of it, be who you are. By the way, when I went to that wedding, Nada, everybody was giving the most terribly difficult speeches on a sound system that didn't work. And I just knew that everybody thought they could be heard, but nobody bothered to check whether they could be heard. And Nada, what I did was I said, I have to be me now. It's the only thing I can do. I need to be me right now. This event needs me at this moment. I really believe that. And I went up to speak, and I didn't use the mic, but I came out with my full projected speaker's voice. And I want to tell you, people were going, "Wow," and started to applaud. And I said, "Oh, I guess I don't need the mic then." And they're going, "No." Right? So, Nana, you understand, some people would say, "Oh, well, she's just showboating or whatever." But the truth was, it lifted everybody's spirits. Yes, Beth, but that's our job in life, right? Is to take that journey and find out who we are. And if you write down a list of your good points, you're going to find out who you are. Be you. Exactly. Stop being what you thought you had to be. Um, Give yourself permission. When I first met Yvonne, she was a rageaholic, OCD driven, da, 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 a long list of stuff. And today I look at her and I go, she is just delightful. Of course, it's hard when you're still finding yourself. Nada, I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but I believe I will spend the rest of my life trying to find out all the little bits. I don't think I found out all mine. Or do you think that I am this perfect person that's got it all worked out? Remember Desiderata, do not compare yourself to greater or lesser people. All right? My job in life is every day to look at the brick and go, why have I still got this brick in my wall? And over here go, why haven't I got a brick over there? Because this a-hole, got in and messed up my happiness today. So this brick is coming out of this part and going over there to protect me from the drama king. All right, that's a strong barrier. That's where I need my bricks. I don't need my bricks in front of the nice people. I need my bricks from the people that are there to hurt and judge me and attack me and do whatever. That's where the bricks are. Not everybody, just for the ones who prove themselves unworthy of my time. Makes sense. Yes. So you're saying, Kerry, that when you met Mike, your walls instantly came down. And that can be a bit scary because you're going, that leaves me vulnerable. But, the nice thing is that being vulnerable is who you are. That's the real you. Yes, Beth. And um, that's why I'm saying that we're all working on walls. Each of us has different walls that we put up. Yes, Nada, it's not that you don't have the protection, put the protection in the right places. Nada, when I think about it, you trusted us at a level that I find quite interesting. So I know that you actually are capable of great vulnerability, right? And great love because you trusted this could have been very difficult for you, right? But what happens is life when you find people that you feel safe with, you don't need to put the walls up. You can tell the truth and you find out that amuses them, they relate or whatever. And that's why I've always said, the thing that you need to learn, that what you might want to learn that is really important in life is share with the right people. In other words, don't share your baggage, however nice the suitcase. Don't share your baggage with everybody because some people will use it against you. But share it with people who don't use it against you and who understand it. Nada, may I quote you on that? I would like to read that out loud. There's a reason why I want to read it out loud. I've been doing help topics all the time, indirectly, Nada. Okay, Nada, I want to read what she said. She said, I was in a dark place, praying for answers and guidance, and life led me here. I said this week, and thank you for that. Um, welcome to the Nut House. And Nada, I said this week to somebody, and I can't remember who it was, but that I have never gone out of my way to promote Dear Mama Sal. Go for the big views, go for whatever. I love it that we continue to grow, but I don't actually do a lot of work marketing and giving freebies and doing da 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 da. You see, I really do believe that the people who need to find us do that. Do you understand? I really believe that I just need to show up and do the broadcasts, and I will make some people happy and some not so much. But I do believe I will be here for the people who need to find me because I will make sense to some people, not all people. Yes, Nada, you can wait. You can, honey. Don't say you can't wait because that means that you don't want to. You can wait. I am prepared to wait for that safe person is a that's a good thing. Do you understand why I'm saying don't say I can't wait? Because somebody could interpret that you don't want to wait, and drop you off the edge of a cliff somewhere. I would wouldn't recommend that as a thing to say. You're going, I'm prepared to wait. Right. You're looking forward to that day. And, I'll know that I'm healthy when it comes around. It's like, because I deserve it. Absolutely, Jody. Good stuff. So that's part of lowering the bricks a bit. Um, is to actually have um, affirmations, and that's really, Jody. That's really something that I've been meaning to do for quite a while. Is actually do more about what do we say to ourselves, our affirmations. Yeah, and Nada, I want to tell you, I've waited 20 years. Um, and I could quite honestly, if I need to, wait for another 20 if God grants me that. Because what I've learned is to be happy with myself. Not all the time, but most of the time. I realize that just by breathing, I will upset some people. Just, and it's like, okay, I don't mind anymore. No, you don't want to get rid of all your bricks, Beth. It's not a good thing. You need a couple of bricks, but you need them in the right places. And by the way, for example, that wonderful thing with Nana. All right, if somebody says something and you're going, "Wow, that was a bit funny," seek to understand why did they say that. There's got to be. I know with Nana, there's always a kindness underneath it. She's, it sometimes sounds like she's really hitting at me, but I know she isn't. She actually is seeking after knowledge, but she sometimes, it's a bit yeah, blunt in its delivery sometimes, but I know where her heart is. So her concern is that maybe we won't help Beth or Nada or Sal, and it's not true because we do, but we do it in a different way. I believe just by being here, we help people anyway. So I hope some of you have gained a little bit of soul. And how can you tell that you've touched your soul? Um, I think you can feel. You see, when we put up the bricks, we go numb. And when we've got the bricks in the wrong place, we go numb. And as you so rightly said, we end up sad and lonely. Right? And so I want to give you a big hug and say the fact that you can come and talk about it means that you're ready to chip a few of those blocks away. I'd like you, if you can, to imagine the Berlin Wall. Are you old enough to remember the Berlin Wall? And because if you ever saw the pictures, when they were chipping away the wall, you're going, I think I need to just remove a few in this direction. Yeah. All right. And they did it with their hands and with anything that they could find, right? They chipped away at that wall. They didn't wait for the right equipment, whatever. They just got up there and started chipping away at it, little crumb at a time. And people wanted those little crumbs, right? There's part of the Berlin Wall in your hometown. Yes, a lot of people around the world have a little bit of the Berlin Wall. So now what I wanted to do is to dedicate, in a way, what we've been talking about to Anthony Bourdain, because to me, I didn't know enough about Kate Spade, but and also there has to be a message somewhere for her as well. But what I want to just say is that Anthony Bourdain made my life more interesting. He brought color. I loved the people he interviewed. I loved the way he asked questions. I don't know if any of you were there the time that somebody tried to con him. Did any of you see that episode where he went snorkeling and a guy was throwing dead octopus and things overhead, pretending that they were live ones? And I saw him lose his temper. And I went, wow, I like this man. He didn't just keep the editing down to showing only the best of him. He allowed them to leave some of his anger in there, and I thought that was really good because you could see the authenticity of him in that moment. He really, I believe he was very authentic. And that is what I would do, Nada, is to really work, and Beth and everybody else, right? What our job is, I believe, is to be authentic. Don't pretend you're a nice person all the time if you're not. It's okay not to be perfect. Don't pretend that, you like keeping a perfect house. You deserve to have some time for yourself. You deserve to have a day in your PJs without makeup every now and then. And I think when you understand that, then you become a human being rather than a human doing. Beth, do you know what I'm getting at? So we don't have to do things to be authentic. We need to be things. right? So be who you are, even if you don't know what that is. Just keep checking each brick and going, well, is this really who I am? I don't think so. So, yes, Kerry, I think you're a pretty unique individual. I believe that each of us is very unique, and I believe each of us is very flawed, and in that is our beauty. In there is our character. I don't like anymore. I don't really gravitate towards perfect people anymore. I gravitate towards authentic people. I like somebody who isn't, altogether there. Somebody with all the perfect suitcases, no, I don't need them because it's not real. See, what's real is that the suitcase is perfect, and then and then the clasp comes undone, and all their dirty laundry comes out every now and then, and you go, and that they can stand there and laugh at it, not be devastated. They go, "Oh, look at that." One of my greatest memories of all time was to actually stand up in front of a huge audience, and they were all bankers, and that sort of level of people. Everybody was in black suits, and it was just amazing. And I got up onto stage, and I was talking to them about the masks we wear and the perfection and everything. And I said, "And how many of you love the suit?" And it was a beautiful, it was $1,000 Monday suit. Yeah, it was a beautiful suit, beautifully cut. And I was, thin in those days. And people, all the women were all applauding because it obviously was a very expensive suit. And I then turned around and I lifted up the back and I said, "Do you see where I popped the zip when I went to the washroom and I'm held together with safety pins?" How many of you can see me doing that? And what I want to leave you with in terms of soul stuff is how many people loved me more because I did that rather than the perfect suit. How many people could relate to me much better that I also had my beautiful suit held together with a couple of safety pins? And that is my message for today. It's real, isn't it, Nada? Yes, and you have to have self-confidence to be able to do it, Maria. Yes, somebody who's into fancy suitcases could never do it. And there were people in the room that gasped, but majority of the room, literally, I got a standing ovation for it, quite honestly. Um, and with tears in my eyes because they just all said, that took courage. They saw all sorts of things in it. It took courage, it took humor, what they said is that took character. Because most people would have given the perfect speech and walked off stage, and still got the standing ovation. But I didn't. I went, "Do any of you relate to this?" And I lifted up the back of my my beautiful jacket, and there were all these safety pins. So with that thought, I leave you. And I leave you to remember that your soul is who you are. That's why we were talking about soul stuff. Don't pretend to be happy if you're not. Get help, right? Don't pretend that you're not lonely if you are. Go out and make friends. Don't wait for friends to get to you because they're not waiting outside your door. You need to leave where you are and go and make friends. And that's why I'm forcing myself in some ways to go back into a community to live the next phase of my life because I don't want to lock myself up in some little one-bedroom apartment feeling sorry for myself and lonely, right? I want to get out amongst people. I've just got to find the right place to do that. I hope it makes sense to you. Nada, we can't wait to hear the stories. Bring us stories, Nada. Tell us, yeah, this one looked like he was really fun, but da da da. And then I met this woman. I really want to hear some of the stories. Okay. Take notes, Nada, because you'll forget, you're human. So take a couple of notes. Take a little notepad with you so you can write a couple of notes. And then we will look forward to hearing them, hopefully on Sunday. I'd like to suggest that you have inspired yourself. You changed your thinking. So you did this for you. I thank you for, yeah, giving me credit, but actually you did it. So big hugs, everybody. Good work. I'm really very, very proud of you all. And please continue to support me in looking forward, not looking back. You know, I need that support too, and I really appreciate what you've all done. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday, Beth. Yes, you bet. And big hugs to you all. We can do this together. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, look after one another, but most of all, look after you. And Jody, thank you for all your help. You do a great job. Bye bye for now, everybody.